You know that feeling when you're so into a story you feel like you're part of it? Well, what if you actually were? That's pretty much what's happening in K-pop right now. Today, we're going to dive into how fans are literally becoming part of the story.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. What if your favorite band was building a whole world, like a full-on cinematic universe, and then they turned to you and basically handed you the keys?
Because that's not some far-off sci-fi idea, it's happening right now. K-pop has evolved past just music, it's become this new kind of interactive entertainment. The real question is, how on earth are they pulling it off? Well, let's get into it.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, there's a key idea we've got to talk about. It's kind of the engine behind this whole thing.
Right, it's called transmedia storytelling. This term comes from a scholar named Henry Jenkins, and the idea is actually pretty simple. You're telling one huge, single story, but you're spreading it out across a ton of different platforms. It's like a giant puzzle, right? The music video gives you one piece, a random tweet gives you another, maybe a post on some app gives you a third. And yeah, you can enjoy any one of those pieces by itself, but if you want to see the whole picture, you, the fan, have to be the one to put it all together.
And you know, when we talk about building these massive, complex worlds, these puzzle box universes, you have to talk about the OGs, the group that's been laying the groundwork for more than a decade now, EXO.
I mean, look at this. This is not just a discography, it's a saga. It's been going on for years. It all kicked off way back in 2012 with their debut, where they set up this whole mythology. You had the Tree of Life, 12 members with 12 superpowers. Then, jump to 2015, and they dropped the hashtag Pathcode teasers. This was basically a global scavenger hunt online that turned the entire fandom into detectives. Then in 2019, things get even crazier. They introduce XXO, their own evil clones. And this isn't even over. They've got plans for a 2026 album called Reverxe, where the whole story is about their powers going haywire. It's this incredible, long-term commitment that makes their world feel so real, so deep.
And what's the result of all this? The fans become part of the experience. They become the detectives. I love this quote from a Reddit user, CubsGirl101, who said, "My favorite part of comeback season is everyone getting their detective hats on and continuing the lore." And that's it, right there. The group gives you the clues, but the fandom is the one that actually builds the theories and connects all the dots.
Okay, so if EXO are the master architects building this lore over a decade, what's the next step? How does this idea evolve? Well, that brings us to ENHYPEN. These guys are taking it to a whole new level. They're pioneering this idea of blurring the line between their fictional world and, well, our reality.
Just look at the difference here. It's wild. On one side, you have your traditional album rollout. You know the drill. Concept photos, a few video teasers, a countdown clock. Standard, right? But then, look at ENHYPEN's approach for their Vampire album. Instead of just some posts on social media, they built a whole fictional news website. Instead of teasers, they dropped breaking news articles from inside of Vampire Society. Fans weren't just sitting around waiting for a drop date. They were actively solving a mystery as it unfolded.
So, here's how they did it. Their whole playbook. Step 1. They launch Vampire Now, a website that looks and feels completely legit, like a real news source. Step 2, and this is the genius part, they fill it with totally mundane stories to make the world feel real. We're talking articles about vampires arguing about trading in their coffins for memory foam mattresses. It's hilarious and so smart. It's only after they built this believable world that they start dropping the breaking news, the stuff that actually connects to the album's story. They scattered clues everywhere and just let the fans go to work.
So you might be thinking, was this just a big prank? What was the point? Well, according to their agency, High Bailey Flab, the goal was never to trick people. They actually said what mattered most was not tricking the audience, but borrowing the language and rhythms of the real world to make this fictional world feel more convincing. See? It wasn't about deception, it was about making you believe.
So you've got EXO's epic, decade-long lore on one hand, and ENHYPEN's alternate reality game on the other. What's the common thread? It's simple, really. In both cases, the fan isn't just a passive listener. The fan becomes an active participant, a co-creator. And the secret sauce to making this work is a technique called incomplete storytelling. It's exactly what it sounds like. The agencies intentionally leave gaps in the story. They give you the pieces, but they don't give you the whole picture. They empower the fans to be the ones who fill in those gaps, to connect the dots, and basically, to write the story with them.
And let's be clear, this isn't just some fun, creative experiment. It is a massive business. Get this number, $513 million. That's the estimated revenue for K-pop just in the US music industry for 2023. That kind of money doesn't just happen. It's a direct result of this incredibly passionate, active fan culture that's willing to invest not just their money, but their time and their brain power into these worlds.
Which, of course, brings us to the future. What happens next? What does it look like when these kinds of immersive worlds are no longer the exception, but become the standard for entertainment?
Because here's the thing, this new model is amazing, right? It creates these incredible opportunities for fans to connect and get involved. But it also opens up a whole can of worms, a whole new set of challenges. When you start building fictional worlds that feel this real, the responsibility on the creators and the platforms gets a lot heavier. And suddenly that fantasy has very, very real-world consequences that we're only now starting to figure out. Think about it. How do we keep fan apps secure and stop fraud? What about data collection? How transparent does that need to be? What are the rules for AI when it comes to things like deepfake voices or images of idols? How do we protect intellectual property? And maybe the most important one, how do we design these spaces to be safe, especially for younger fans? These aren't just what-if questions anymore. They're happening now.
So that leaves us with one last big question to think about. In these amazing, complicated, immersive worlds, as that line between fiction and reality gets blurrier and blurrier, who actually gets to write the final chapter? Is it the artist, the company, or is it the fans, who are no longer just an audience but are now a part of the story itself?